Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to F.E.A.R 2. Let's continue. Level 2. Interval 2.
He's reacting to the meds. Check the dosage. Shouldn't be happening.
This is nice animation.
1 moment. Hold the lidocaine and check his pressure.
I don't...
Damn it. Grab the
It's been a while since I played F.E.A.R 1, so I don't know if there is, like, people I should recognize here.
He's alive, but we're moving too fast. We need to...
So we're jumping between horror scenes of zombies tearing into your flesh and them doing surgery on you, trying to make you into a super soldier that can slow down time. Although, arguably, this is maybe more Alma's work than anything else. And so, you kind of don't know if this is a case of Alma and ghosts being controlled by Alma being used. We now know what our heads-up display actually is. This is a pair of glasses instead of a full helmet. And then Stokes and Griffin are apparently still alive. So apparently they do have like a map mode that could tell people whether you can connect. We are now in a completely different environment. And seemingly I think we are also probably not going to be able to use a lot of things for cover anymore, at least at the moment. Here we have the TV is just completely turned down. There we had a creepy scene where it fell down. And we have mirrors that don't work. So it is possible here. It's kind of weird to have Sharp's dispenser. This is where they put sharp needles and sharp things so that the janitors don't get stabbed or anything like that. But it's kind of weird to have one in a bathroom of a hospital, particularly since there's one over here by the bed. That's just two that then need to be specially emptied. Here we have an item that, I now have to press the start button because I've mapped the back button to the alternate fire mode on the controllers. It is possible, though, that we are not playing as Becket now. It could be that at any point, Point Man jumped into the mind of Becket, but it would probably make a lot of sense if it happened right now, or if we aren't Becket at all, and we're always Point Man from this point forward. And so they did a whole character swap. That certainly would. Here we can see there's a shadow of a character over there. Certainly would also explain the broken mirrors. It's kind of sunny outside. You would have thought that the world would have been completely encased in red goo. Here we've got some water. Or the red sky for a longer period of time. Yep. And this is where we begin the real story, because it's going to be all about seeing more spooky things and seeing the backstory of Alma when she was alive. Again, if you want to know the story, play the game yourself or look it up on a Wikipedia article, or probably not Wikipedia, but there's a website out there, I'm sure, that will tell you the whole story. And we will see that there's... I kind of feel like in the first game there was a point where a bad guy jumped through a ceiling and then you ended up going through the ceiling. But yeah, Alma, as seeing herself as an innocent little girl and having that split personality. So we can't really zoom in and see it, and the light would just get in the way. This is very possibly the hospital that Alma was born in. We will eventually see the interesting. I don't know if time rewound there or what. And we do have the time slowdown ability at this point. It's limited. So we have a male and female door. Female door doesn't open much. Can't use this. Can't knock it over. Can't do much there. Seeing flipping the light switch back and forth seems kind of pointless. And then you hear the tape rewind as if it really is a tape. So I guess they just want you to go here. Then we have the creepy adult version of Alma, or the rage of her personality, walking towards you too. And then some shadows certainly can play a role. And yeah, definitely a point I think here. I am going to have to just decide to have the flashlight on all the time. Either that or we are going to be back to the same situation. It's interesting that just some doors just don't open as if they've been barricaded, or as if I'm just not really in control of all my actions. We're following the blood, which seems like there's a couple different ways to go and check blood out. You suppose you want to be thorough. Yep, there's more collectibles. We're kicking something on the ground, a bottle of pills, which there is definitely some interactivity here, but nowhere as much as you kind of would like. And that's a great example of just the iterative nature of technology these days in games, is that adding one or two extra items that have physics on them and can feel like real world objects instead of things that are just stapled to the ground and can't be moved, even though they should be movable very easily, adds to the real world presence of a game. And sometimes it's beneficial, like if I could turn the light switch on and off, that might be beneficial. I don't know what the X's mean, but also I think a lot of times it's kind of pointless. That's a great example of being kind of pointless, in that it's just no real reason for that to be that way. Clearly somebody's been running around shooting people, and it's not just Alma's faction. I assume they don't mean for me to jump up and crawl through there. It's very possible we might get up here at some point. It's also possible that this might be the hospital not where Alma was born, but where they did some kind of surgery on her to make her the way she is. But the most important thing to see here is they're trying to teach us that now when our instincts are being triggered, we will slow down time, which honestly I don't think the game actually works that way. This is a great example of the improvement in the graphics. Certainly very gory, very bloody, and much more detailed than the first game. Like, it probably would be nice if the game simply did just slow down when a bullet nearly hits you, or when the game calculates that you take the first hit, it actually misses and then slows down time and makes it look like they're missing. Here we can see bloody footprints that are boot prints, not feet prints, which there's something to take from that. We don't have a gun, unfortunately. So here you have just a nurse, bloody, shot. And then you walk out here, and then we see adult Alma. So, I mean, you assume they're shot. If they're not shot, then Alma is I guess, pushing her long, bony finger through the brains of people. Or just killing them in some other way. I don't get the bullet holes then. More collectibles. Really, I'm just collecting them to see if maybe I'll get an achievement and can get all the achievements in the game. Yeah. This is not how Alma killed most of the people in the first game. And so it is worth pointing that out, that most of the people in the first game did pretty much just disappear. I'm glad this isn't making any sound effects. Like, in the first game, I think we had a lot of cases where there were security cameras that would make a mechanical sound, which was just too much.
Colonel Becket, this is Samuel. Looks like we got another soldier who's in the recovery wing.
So,
You stay there.
the guy's coming to get me with no gun. And so maybe they did kill some of the other soldiers. Is there anything here? Nope. There were definitely some areas in the first game where there were gates like this, and the gates just kind of acted as walls. It's strange that none of the security people would have a gun on them or a weapon of any sort. It's also, I guess, a little strange that you wouldn't grab a keyboard or a paint can and swing that around instead of just punching people. Let's see, we can't reach that health kit, and I only have one health kit on me, so I'd like to come back and get that.
Sergeant Becket, thank God you're okay. I'm I'm sure you have a lot of questions. I'll explain everything later. Right now, we need to get you to the TAC lab. Hurry, and be careful. Danik's men are attacking the facility. Can't believe he'd go to this extreme to cover up evidence.
You can't swing at the glass or do anything like that. It also turned off the flashlight in that cutscene. Yeah, she's obviously up to something no good. But I guess the mission is the mission still. Until you just decide to stop following orders. If you're gonna think of it that way. Otherwise, it's just video game stuff. As usual. I cannot punch a fire extinguisher to make it explode. Which is probably a good move. Because if I could, it probably would explode in my face and kill me. Come back here and get 1 health kit. We're at full armor right now, so we're fairly well off. And see, you can see that these are like CD-ROMs in disk trays. That is a technology that would not really exist or be understood by people nowadays. So it just kind of looks like a giant floppy disk. But anything like that, if it is supposed to be its own like unique technology that doesn't exist in the real world, because obviously if we have super soldiers, there is some level of technology that doesn't exist in this world, and we've seen armored robot people that obviously that doesn't exist in the real world. There's no reason for these files to not be voice acted, and perhaps it says something about Warner Brothers' willingness to fund games that they didn't voice act any of those files. And while the animation is better,
You're about to stumble into an ambush.
This is a secure channel. Identify yourself.
interesting.
Monitoring us on the security cameras.
We've got another hacking guy. Hopefully he's not just another stereotypical hacker. So we can see there's a flame-throwing guy there. Saving. Don't turn off your computer. Perhaps it would make sense to be a bit slower with the whole process. And use the... Nope, don't want to use that. Can't push the button to open the door. Can't push that button to open the door. Can't hit it, can't use the button. But yeah, maybe opening and using the doors would be smart. We now have the slow-mo ability. So
Well done. I see why they picked you.
Who the hell are you?
You could call me Snake Fist.
Snake Fist? Are you fucking kidding me?
Hey, I don't know who else is listening, and I'm not taking any chances. You people need to get out of there.
So he picks a ridiculous title for himself. I guess this is just a glow stick. And we'll get the grenades. So I must have just walked by a gun that happened to be on the table in slow motion and not even seen it. It must have been sitting right here, which is helpful certainly, because my attempts to run up to these guys and just smack them did not succeed. There is a point there where you can introduce humor, certainly by having somebody being ridiculous and paranoid. Particularly in this scenario, being ridiculous and paranoid makes a lot of sense. Let's turn off the flashlight now.
The cause of the explosion is still unknown.
Yeah, I think we have to play. Arguably, there might be there might be a point here uh, to turning up the brightness of the game instead of flipping between flashlight on and off, because the concept of having a flashlight in the game never really works. It's kind of a nightmare. Doom 3 is kind of the best example. The original version of that was kind of the worst example of that, where you couldn't have the flashlight and the gun enabled at the same time, so you could never see what you were shooting at. I believe that was the controversy with Doom 3, and they eventually re-released a different version. And while that might be an interesting ability for like a hardcore mode, it's not really a interesting enough experience to have as the default mode for gameplay. This now will topple over his cover, so apparently we were just kind of locked out of that option. So and we can see now when we're firing guns that the bullets are slowed down. I can now also go into single semi-auto mode with the back button. So what I'd like to do is swap over to this and see if there's an alternate fire mode with the handgun. And I guess not, because what would the alternate fire mode even be? Although it is kind of questionable too, how much of an experience do you really want with the different kinds of bullets and guns? Right. Switch here. There's a highlight here that appears. Now. But you can see I've lost all my armor, and I've taken some damage. So I need to be more careful, which this is definitely where the carefulness and the time slowdown mechanism comes into play. Because you run into a problem there. It's like the run mode exists in this game, so you can't really serve two masters. You can't have a game that is designed to let you run and gun and melee people all over the place, although that does kind of need to be a backup option if you're out of bullets. And also have a game where you are slowing down time and then trying to line up your shot perfectly, which these guys are fast enough movers that even when time slows down, you can not easily take them out. That guy dodged and weaved quite a bit there. And with the time slowdown ability, you now are in a situation where maybe it doesn't matter that when you walk around it's a little slow, because you're still pretty much fine. There's the guy. That guy's been completely dismembered in one shot. Is that because of the time slowdown ability? Or is it simply a matter of the fact that they have a exploding barrel on their back. It seems fiddly. The whole situation seems like it's going to be a little bit fiddly because there's a lot going on here as far as people showing up and then being eliminated and then more people showing up. And I don't think I'm going to be able to just always keep my health at 100%. There we go. That's nice that that's interactive. Although, in all fairness, smashing the front of a vending machine will not give you sodas. It'll just break the lights in the front of it. And it seemingly they only animated one soda machine to do that. One type of soda machines. We have a wheelchair area. Like, good thing we were right about whether those were good guys or bad guys. I'm about to die, so I'll use a health kit. And it seems like you can kind of slow down time back to back, but you don't get the full duration if you do it that way. And the blinds stay in place regardless of whether you break the glass. So I guess you have to assume those are emergency shutters of some sort. And did we go full circle? Or are we in a different area? So, yeah. That'll break. That won't. That won't open. That will. Different broken tiles on the ground. I guess they were working on tiling the bathroom, and you can see the mirrors don't work. You can see people are. Another creepy thing. There, to collect. But I didn't even see a creepy thing, so yeah, you can see the bare footprints. Once again, Alma, either as a girl or as a naked adult, is pointing you towards the collectible. So she definitely feels like she's on your side. I'm full on frag grenades. I should have used more of them. We'll see if there's a boss fight anywhere around here. Interesting. So she's just hiding in there, which honestly, that is the right response, is to probably tell her just stay in there and hide. But you're a silent protagonist, so you're not going to say anything at all. Alma very possibly is going to kill you. Kill her. Yeah, I kind of feel like I have to come back now and just test to see what things can be broken and what things can't. Yep. It seems like I'm probably triggering a fight. There we go. Throw a grenade and fire. just knock that guy down. I could have used another grenade. There went all of my armor. And you're still not gonna come out? Fine, stay in there and potentially die. Did I just see Alma there, or what? Think I was supposed to? This really is an example of a game that needs to take control away from you and turn your face towards the image, or decide to do more audio spooks if it can't do that. Because there's definitely a case of see. This is definitely a case of there being, wow, that cheap little sofa protected them from the grenade. Alright, and you're not supposed to, I guess, jump up here. Instead, you're supposed to crouch down here. And then the elevator falls to its death. In a funny way, I've seen elevator shafts in other games that look almost exactly the same as this. And yeah, that would make sense. There's really no reason to reanimate. Locate the working elevator to the 3rd floor is now an objective. Interesting. We're just going to get objectives that we think to ourselves, I guess, going forward. Alright. Let's see, melee, and shoot. Wow, and it was telling me to get a med kit right as I was getting shot. So we can load from the last save, and we could lower the difficulty. I don't think we're quite ready to that point where we need to do that. Let's go to automatic mode and then do this and do that. Did I put that in here? Yeah, they're telling me to use a medkit as I'm dying. Yeah, be really, really careful about throwing a grenade in the middle of a Alright. I'm kind of hitting a lot of armor clanging sounds. It's funny he ended up lying on the sofa there. Okay. It seems like the game probably gives you a little bit of benefit if you clear out a room so that you don't then immediately have to pull out and pull out of the time slowdown mode. The guy did just end up like ragdolled. But we can also tell that he's glitching through the floor. Where the gun is. Yeah, the gun is glitching through the table. Can't open that. Can't get over there. I think we may have been over on that side. And although maybe not, because we would be on a different floor. So we may just be going in circles, which that's fine. This is how you would design a multiplayer map, is to have multiple pathways, and then you turn it into a single player map by blocking a lot of those pathways and making it a linear experience. This requires a security card to get to here. And so I guess we want to get here at some point, but not yet. I guess it will come down to, is this where they did surgery on me? If it is, I can't really read these files. We've acquired some ammo. Flashlight's working terribly, so I feel like we're probably running towards a jump scare of some sort. That's weird, Deuce. Nothing here. Just some paperwork. Or they've expected something more. Find the morgue key is now objective. We now have the morgue key card. Really could use several more med kits. Here we hear screaming and terrified people. That was not a problem on whatever difficulty I played the first game on, which I didn't think it was easy, but alright, now we have a reflex injector, which I assume increases our slowdown time. Yep. Seems like maybe there's only 4 or 5 of those in the entire game. So we'll definitely want to try and be thorough and find those. Here we can see Alma again. Just quick jumps. I don't mind that at all. I very much would prefer the quick jumps and it being much more frequent than the infrequent longer experiences. Let's see. As far as bloody footprints, these are boot prints, not feet prints. So she wants me to go here, and yet that's broken. And you can't just smash it. So we're gonna have to go around. Get some armor. See, and that's a little weird that she's kind of walking all over the place. I wonder if I could have saved that guy if I was faster. It's interesting, the cursor turns red when you're gonna hit him, so you pretty much just have to aim your cursor at the guy, and when it turns red, fire. These guys actually don't feel like they are really vulnerable in the head, where I'm more frequently kind of used to being able to shoot people in the head. Yeah, you kind of don't have a lot of military on military shooters where headshots still don't count for something more in games, because it just feels good even if it's not accurate, even if you do have, oh, you can apparently shoot the other kinds of Coke machines, you just can't smash them, or maybe it's just inconsistent all over. You can just straight up push the whole thing over. I didn't realize you could do that. It kind of highlights the cover-based mechanic here, is how it is not designed particularly well. And all you're doing is listening for the grunt when shooting. If you hear the grunt, they're down. If you don't hear the grunt, keep firing. And I don't think I can use the combat shotgun very much at all. And I don't think I can use the pistol at all. And now's not really the best time to use a health med kit because I have only one. But I also would like my health to be at the maximum, otherwise one misplaced grenade either from me or from someone else is going to wear me down. This is like a great example of how slow the game can be. The sense of separation seems to probably be a thematic idea here that they're trying to emphasize, that you're separated from your team, which maybe that is a thought. Yeah, no zombies coming out of the body bags, I think, in this game. Maybe the innocent young Alma is going to be separated from the evil or out of control raging adult Alma. I think that probably is a smart move. It does definitely then leave you in a situation where in F.E.A.R 3 we can have the, in my opinion, much more popular and easier to advertise child Alma, creepy child Alma, that looks like the girl from The Grudge, without having the naked adult girl Alma, who then runs the risk of pushing your game up to be an adult only thing. In all fairness, they are at least doing you a favor here by blurring your vision. So every time they depict her, which is a lot, you kind of know that you're not really gonna see anything. I seriously doubt that they ever like visually drew any genitalia or anything on the character. And see, I guess that would have been creepy to have all the bodies come out of the tray, but I'm not sure what I was really supposed to do there, except for maybe this. I slide this and then I can use the elevator. So she's claiming she didn't do any surgery on you or anything. I press and hold to pry open the elevator doors, which basically that's a quick time event, but we haven't seen a lot of that, so I'm not going to complain too much. A lot of doors, a lot of barricaded points. Is there a possibility that you could get up here and then crouch and then get over here? Yes. Well, that was hardly fruitful. More collectibles in the form of pickups. Another dead nurse. I assume they're nurses because they're in red. I could be totally wrong about that. That could be orderlies. Here we are in office 202. Where that door won't open. So we're obviously going this way. In the first game, we had offices that were like this in Arnicam, and they've taken that concept and expanded on it quite a bit. And boy, is your flashlight just not working anymore. It's like, is the battery getting weaker and weaker? Or is it that, like, that would be the weirdest part of a game, video game battery, of a flashlight. If it died after 20 minutes of use instead of the normal like 20 seconds of use, because that would just be long enough to make me question my own sanity there. Interesting music playing in the background, like Arabic. We kind of know that. Darn it, darn it, darn it. This is where run is going to really come into problem. Where you really would need the ability to run, and I don't have any good way to map that. And it would be kind of silly to use your health kit now, because I am at like half armor also. So it's better just to pick up these and hope that these at some point will get you back up to 100%. See what this, how much breaks when you do that. Decent amount. So over here. I suppose it would be a little crass to have a filthy toilet. I don't think anybody really wants to see that. This is weird. You have a broken mirror here with some broken glass, but then you just don't have glass in the other mirror. In a funny way, we've at this point established Alma as not a threat at all. She is instead become your friend. And nope. And your basic leader, pointing you towards the directions it wants you to go to. This is definitely a bold choice with the slight Arabic music, because I imagine there's nowadays potential controversy that you would just want to avoid. if it turned out that like this music is sometimes played during prayers or something. Not that all Arabic music is religious based, but doing the research is often not worth just being overly cautious and potentially being accused of being or potentially acting as perhaps just a little xenophobic and not including other cultures just for the risks of controversy. They certainly avoid a lot of that in this game because we assume these are just regular old Americans shooting regular old Americans, white people, and they're all masked in armor. So who's to say different? Like these are arguably all super soldiers and clones, so you run into that also as an issue. That it may not even... You could make the claim that it's not even humans that are being shot here, and at the very least they're shooting at you first, so that's good enough for most people. Here's a great example of like the ragdoll physics that can often cause trouble. Because they've programmed his knees to not bend back in an unnatural state, but they've not programmed his feet to give way, so instead you have shoulders that won't go back beyond a unnatural state, a neck that won't go back in an unnatural state. And unless you're making the argument that he has some like massive leg braces in his armor that literally is holding his entire body in place, that pose just doesn't seem realistic. It would, and while you can knock him down, it took a lot more than it probably should, where often now games will just dissolve bodies to save on resources, and then you don't have that problem, or you maybe increase the amount of the amount of flexibility that they have once they've been shot of the joints, or you break off the legs even, or let the legs clip through the area. That was a interesting jump animation. I just hit A and it jumps over, and that definitely looks cooler than normal. Over here we've got nothing. So we're about an hour through, so either not every level is going to be an hour long, or I'm just taking my sweet time because I died a couple times. With the combat shotgun now, there are 3 options, but we kind of know then that tells us there are going to only really be 4 guns that we can either carry or 4 guns that we'll have, and that does imply to me then we probably are going to need to swap out some guns. Here we hear a sound alarm going off, and Fox. I assume that's an alarm going off in... Well, actually, let me just pause the game to make sure the alarm is going off in the game and not in my house. Yeah, it's in the game. Just want to be certain there. The last thing you want to do is burn to death in your house because your smoke detector is going off and you think it's in a video game. That would be a dumb way to die. Seems like we've got maybe some alternate options here as the different directions we want to go. Did I come through this door? I feel like I did. So, I crouch down here and hit this. Oh, it's just having a hard time falling down. That gets me over here to an intel item. And nothing else, so it's just a collectible. No split paths. Which that makes sense. It's been an incredibly linear game up until this point. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why we're getting just darkness as a spooky element when it feels like there should be more. There's definitely a collectible back there. Can I get up here? Or crouch and then get up there? No. Yeah. It just kind of feels like they're trying too hard as far as spooky jump scares, and they just don't want it to all be Alma all the time. All Alma all the time. You have a locked thing here. You definitely see something back there. The only thing that makes any sense would be to potentially jump up here and try and grab just a ledge of this without hitting that, and then crouching. I don't think you can. I don't think you can end up on just the leg of this. There's no interacting with the elevator buttons. When we went around to get to that area, there wasn't anything that would let us split over to that area. So either we're coming around the long way, or they've just are teasing you with a collectible you can't actually get, which that'd be very annoying. We must be coming around the long way. Isn't this the way we came? No? Yeah, we came down here. We shot people. We came in here. And those are cabinets. And we went in here. So maybe we didn't go this direction. Yeah, I guess this is new. I'm gonna be able to get through here? I don't think so. Yep.
Becket, over here. Man, am I glad to see you.
Where is he?
Come on, we don't have much time. Into the chamber. Hurry!
I don't see who's talking at all. This is just another great example of them needing to basically tell me, take control of the game and just show me where to go.
Chamber cycled and ready. Hurry, we don't have much time.
You get like full health. There they are.
This thing isn't gonna sterilize him or anything, right? That was the least of my concerns. Hold still. It won't take long. Get down!
So I wonder if this chamber is maybe a way of trying to remove Alma's influence. Hmm. Hmm. Here we have like a Cthulhu-esque monster grabbing them, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think in this instance, it's not just a stationary screen. Instead, we're going to run towards her. And now we see like a building, and then it jumped us. It's coming more and more in the clear sights.
Good morning, Chickpea. You must be part of Project Harbinger. Only way to explain why Aristide would have brought you here.
Commander, we spotted him heading for the main entrance.
Roger that. On my way. Don't let them escape.
So now he's going to reveal that he may not be as bad a guy
Finish up
as
here.
you think.
Sucker's not going anywhere.
Okay. Throw some grenades there. And we were thrown out of this. So we are now back to where we were. Award unlocked Snake Fist. So apparently meleeing a bunch of people does give you an award. And getting awards does show up in the gameplay, which I'm a little surprised by that. Health is still full, it's just all my armor's gone. Which kind of makes you want to prefer to be able to pick up some armor off of these guys. They seem to drop grenades if you're low on grenades. Yeah. You definitely have a problem here with the grenades, that it is not worth your time to throw a grenade and just wait and see if it works. They are basically flashbangs, even if they aren't flashbangs, because you just need to use them as distraction devices. Let's go ahead and turn into auto mode and just pummel these guys. And you can see I'm having slight problems with hitting the wrong button. And I guess who else is firing at me? Is that guy dead? They have fairly weak sounding shots. Let's go back to shooting stronger bullets, it seems like, in individual bursts. So they drop health also when you need health. So they kind of drop everything you need. And here we have an intel item, which I just unlocked an award for paparazzi, which I guess means I got all the awards for this level. or all the collectibles for this level. Can't open that door. And I guess we are jumping downward to possibly the new level. Because I feel like now is definitely the point where there should be a new interval. Yep. And that's exactly what happened. So, an Aramacam Black Ops team cut you off from Lieutenant Stokes, but was inexplicably annihilated. In the confusion, Lieutenant Stokes lost sight of Genevieve Aristad and then is attempting to locate her while you try to find a way around. Also, someone going by the alias Snakefist has been helping you, although his motives aren't clear. Alright. So far, so good. It almost feels like a modern game, even though 2019, you're talking... well, no, this was a 2009 game, so you're talking a 12-year-old game as of recording in 2021. Am I doing the math right there? Yeah, that should be the right number. So, yeah, it almost feels like a modern game, but definitely we see some limitations here and there with the number of items in a room and the interactivity with items. There is a lot of polish that a more modern game would be expected to have as far as the shooting experiences. Playing this on normal with a controller, it does certainly change the experience a little bit, whereas I imagine if you were mouse and keyboarding this might be a slightly faster, more accurate experience. I probably wouldn't miss quite as much, but yeah, that's not the biggest issue. The bigger issue is just the constant repeating of enemies, and they really have just two notes in the game, and it is see something spooky, shoot a bunch of people, then see something spooky, see it, shoot a bunch of people, and repeat over and over again. Maybe occasionally you get some conversation and dialogue, but then also all the real backstory is in the intel, which they have hidden behind reading, whereas I imagine a good 60% plus of the players would have never bothered to actually read any of the pickup intel stuff. So if there was a deeper, better story here, it is being lost on me and probably most players. There is also a point to make that during the era in which The Grudge and other creepy Japanese looking girls, which, let's face it, she does seem like she is a creepy Japanese looking girl, even though she may just be a black haired Western American. That was the big deal in movies, certainly. So it becomes a little questionable why Warner Brothers never funded a movie like that. I wouldn't be surprised if actually Warner Brothers did fund The Grudge itself, but why is there not a F.E.A.R movie? Or even like a F.E.A.R anime direct-to-DVD movie? You'd think there would be something like that, but as far as I know, it doesn't exist, which really goes back to point that Warner Brothers and Monolith were not really on the same page as far as how much they wanted to promote these games and how much they should promote these games. At a certain level, yes, horror games will never sell as well as other kinds of games. There are just a good percentage of players that will never play a horror game. But this was a fairly successful project, the F.E.A.R series, and if it was given more money and more focus and more care, it would have rivaled the ranks of the Halo series or the Gears of War series, and yet it's been completely forgotten and abandoned for seemingly no good reason. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.